Okay, it is time to return to the subject of accuracy with our Palmetto State Armory upper. Bought this upper not too long ago. It is a 16-inch, one of their 1-in-7 Freedom M-Lock uppers. It came with this barrel. They're stainless, they're cheap stainless 5.56, 1-in-7 twist, 16-inch barrel. Yep, just says 1-in-7 Freedom on it. 5.56 NATO, 1-in-7 Freedom. We did a video previously testing some accuracy with this barrel, and it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad at all, but it wasn't quite what I was hoping for. So I have got another barrel. It is a 16-inch AR Stoner barrel from Midway. It's also a 1-in-7 twist. This one does have carbine gas, where this one is a mid-length gas system. As you can see, it is in the upper. Here's what I've done up to this point. I tore apart the original upper with the stainless barrel in it, and everything was fine. Like the barrel nut was torqued well, the gas block was aligned just fine and tight. Everything was fine, except the flash hider was on there loose, and it was a little bit wonky, but I don't think that mattered at all. So what I did, I tore it apart. I squared the receiver. I've got one of those big, yeah, I don't have it here close, but one of those big thingies you put in the receiver and square the face of the receiver. So I squared the face of the receiver and then put it back together exactly like it was. So I loaded up 100 rounds to test that configuration. And while I was at it, I loaded up an additional 100 rounds to test with our AR Stoner barrel. You can see some powders back here. I chose 4 different bullets. So I shot 2 55 grain bullets and 2 69 grain bullets and tested them in both barrels. The problem is I've got all this footage, like I filmed all the shooting and the targets and, you know, my normal style. I've been trying to put it together into a video for the last couple days, and it is so boring. It is just completely boring. And that's saying a lot on this channel, which pretty much all the videos are boring. So what I've decided to do is, where we sit now, I've fired all 200 rounds, I've tested both barrels, and I've got targets. So we're just going to look at the targets. We'll talk about each of the combos I used, look at the targets, and that'll be it. So no loading, no shooting, all of that crap just ended up being too boring. So we're just going to shorten it here, talk things out, and I'll tell you where we landed here as our testing is finished up. Let's start light and work our way up. The first load we tested, this was basically, it's a bullet I don't like and a powder that I really don't like. This is as much about getting rid of some extra components. This is the 55 grain Hornady Full Metal Jacket boat tail. So I bought 500 of these, I don't know, a year or two ago. I have never been able to get them to shoot in anything. My Colt didn't shoot them well. And our initial tests with the Palmetto State Armory upper, they didn't shoot well. But I had the bullets on hand. I need to get rid of them. So I loaded up 5 different charge weights with Norma 200 from 21.9 grains up to 23.5 grains at an overall length of 2.225. So let me show you the target. And this is going to be very quick because it shot terrible. Wow, my camera settings are a little bit too bright. Stand by. All right, let's try that. It shot awful. So the top 5 dots are with our Palmetto State Armory barrel. The best group in here somewhere, it's actually the blue. The blue was a 1.6 inch. The worst was a couple of 2.9 inch groups, the green here and then this guy. But the average group size here was about 2.5 inches. With the AR Stoner barrel, it was worse. Our worst group was 4.1 inches. Our best group was 2.8 inches. It was just terrible all around. But the Palmetto State Armory barrel did shoot better. It averaged 2.5 inches, where the AR Stoner averaged 3.5. So I don't know if that's significant or not. I'm not going to put much weight in this because it's just bad. It is bad all around. Now, the next bullet we tested is a new bullet that I just picked up after getting quite a few recommendations for it in the comments section, and that is the 55 grain Varmint Nightmare from Mid-South Shooter Supply. These are very, very, very affordable, and people have reported that they shoot very well. So I'm looking forward to a whole lot more testing with these here on the channel, because this is a seriously cost-effective butt kicker. For powders, we used a new powder that I just picked up, X-Terminator, Ramshot X-Terminator. From what I read, this is the same stuff as Accurate 2230. So another spherical powder that works well in 223. I shot from 22 grains up to 24 grains in half grain increments at an overall length of 2.175. These groups were much more satisfactory, although not quite as good as I'm hoping we'll get to with further testing. I'm hoping we'll find another powder that maybe does better. The Palmetto State Armory, the best group was 1.6 inches. The worst group was our first one here at 3.3, but it really had one that went way out there that kind of screwed things up. But overall, not bad, you know. Average was 2.2, but that really gets skewed by that first one with that crazy guy up there. So I would say more realistic number is a 2-inch average here. That's not bad at all. That is really not bad at all. Now, moving on to once we moved over to the AR Stoner barrel, it didn't quite like this combination as much, but it still wasn't quite as bad. Certainly not as bad as the 55 grain Hornadies. The best group was this 2.5 incher that kind of had one out there. We seem to have a lot of stringing here and crazy, shots flying out, screwing up groups. So I'm hoping we're going to see a whole lot better performance with this bullet in both barrels once we try some other powders and maybe find a combo that works better. But just overall, these seem to fly a whole lot better than those Hornadies did. So looking forward to more testing. If we look at average group size, the Palmetto State Armory was a 2.2 and the AR Stoner was a 2.7. So the Palmetto barrel really liked these better than the AR Stoner with this particular powder. So at this point, the Palmetto State Armory has shot both of these 55 grain bullets better. Now, the next bullet we tested was my favorite bullet. I keep a ton of these around. This is the 69 grain Sierra Sierra Match King. I buy boxes of 500 of these and really keep them around. I like to shoot these. They always shot very well in my Colt. They shot reasonably well in some earlier testing with the Palmetto. And this time I tested them with IMR 8208 XBR, which my 6.5 Grendel really likes this powder. I haven't shot it a whole lot yet in 223. I'm thinking I need to shoot it some more because our performance was pretty darn snazzy here. Not too bad. Our best group with the Palmetto State Armory upper or barrel was 0.88 inches. Great little group. And it kind of opened up from there. Our worst group was 2.34. But overall, we ended up with an average group size of 1.62 inches. And, it was certainly a huge step up in accuracy from our 55 grain tests. But it definitely looks like this powder and bullet combination, we could hone in on something and find a really good shooting load. So I was definitely glad to see the Palmetto barrel do pretty well with this. And then whenever we moved on to the AR Stoner barrel, it was even better. Our best group here is 0.78 inches. These are all 100-yard groups, by the way. Yeah, 100 yards. I shot from the prone with a bipod and a rear bag, kind of like normal, like the previous testing. Our worst group was the first group at 1.93 inches that kind of had this one guy up here kind of screw things up. But not bad. Not bad at all. A little over an inch here. So very pleased with the performance of both barrels. The average group size, now the AR Stoner kind of won this round. We had a 1.32 inch average and a 1.62 inch average with the Palmetto. But we're kind of seeing, I would call this similar performance between the two barrels. The AR Stoner is certainly not outshooting the PSA by a whole bunch here. And back on the 55 grain targets, the PSA wasn't really outshooting the AR Stoner by a wide margin. So they seem pretty close, but at least with this bullet and powder combination, our AR Stoner seemed to be a little bit better. So very happy to see that target. The last combination was the 69 grain Barnes Match Burner. This is a very similar bullet to the Sierra Match King, a Bowtail hollow point match bullet. This guy we shot with Reloader 15, which is one of my favorite powders. Shot from 23 grains up to 25 grains. And we shot an overall length of 2.250. We also shot overall length of 2.250 with the Match King as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. But, so 23 to 25 grains with the Match Burner. And with our PSA, the best group was a 1.21 inch group. Not bad. And just kind of looking overall, not quite as good as the Match King, but not terrible either. Our worst group was this 2.32, but it had this one guy out here that kind of screwed it up. But it was trying to group. It seemed like, it was trying to group. Average group size here, 1.73 inches. So not too bad. And once we moved on to the AR Stoner, kind of similar performance. We did have a 1.12 inch group that was pretty good there at 25 grains. 2.2 inch group there. 2.09 inch group there. So not quite as good as the Match King, but not terrible performance here with the Match Burner and Reloader 15. Average group sizes were almost the same, 1.73 and 1.70. So pretty darn similar. Very similar. So I was really hoping to have a clear winner, and we don't really have one, do we? The Palmetto barrel shot a little bit better with the lighter bullets, and the AR Stoner barrel shot a little bit better with the heavier bullets. But, neither one really kicked the other's butt. It was kind of pretty similar sort of performance. So now I'm kind of stuck in a spot where I need to decide, do I buy a premium barrel or just go forward with one of these two? I think probably just because I'm lazy. The AR Stoner is in there right now. I'll probably just, hang on, my camera settings are all dark still. There, that's a little bit better. Too bright? Nah, we're all right. All right, so yeah, so I'm kind of stuck. Similar performance. And like I'd mentioned, I'll probably test here with the AR Stoner for a while, just because it's already in the upper and I'm lazy and there's not a whole lot of compelling reason to tear it all apart and put the Palmetto back in there. So I just need to we're going to move forward. We've got a bunch of 5.56 bullets that I want to test here on the channel, and that's why that all kind of stopped here while I sorted out what was going on here. But I want to move forward with that, and I'll probably move forward with the AR Stoner barrel just because it's in here. Having said that, I would probably be better off to go ahead and put the Palmetto back in there because of its mid-length gas system. And, you know, I'm planning to shoot suppressed a good bit. So this carbine gas system is already going to be pretty gassy. And then once I suppress it, it's going to be overgassed quite a bit. So, yeah, I don't know what to do. I'll probably leave the AR Stoner in there for a while, but I may end up going back to the Palmetto State Armory. Now, if you're wondering about the AR Stoner barrel and break-in, I did shoot about 100 rounds through it before I tested for groups. So I put it in there, just ran a bunch of just plinking ammo through there, made sure everything was functioning well before I then cleaned it and then started shooting groups for this. So it did get a little bit of break-in. Both barrels have functioned flawlessly with the upper. Stupid ladybug. These things are everywhere. Let me give you an up-close view of this little guy. They infest your house where I live. So these are the ones that are always crawling around in all my videos. Stupid little piece of crap. All right, enough of that guy. You know, I've got the Colt LE6920 and I've put it back to its factory configuration, thinking that, you know, I'll just buy a different upper and use it for my testing and just kind of put my Colt back to factory configuration and not really even probably shoot it very much. The other option I've got, though, is to use these upper parts and maybe do something different. Maybe a 22 Nosler barrel or a 16-inch 6.5 Grendel barrel, or kind of use this upper as a platform to do some other testing and turn my Colt into my dedicated 5.56 test upper because it shoots really well. That's a good barrel that's always done very well for me. And, you know, ARs are a dime a dozen. It's not like some precious thing that I need to keep in good condition because its value is going to go up. You know, I mean, I need to just say screw it and probably just, yeah, I'm rambling. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But that's kind of what's going through my head. It's crazy up there, man. Like, my head is insane. But for at least here for a little while, we're going to use this for 5.56 testing and see how it does. I'm certainly not upset about the purchase because this rail is very nice. Very happy with this rail and also very happy with the way it came off and went back on. The barrel nut is a really neat design. You know, some of the crazy barrel nuts and stuff with some of the other handguards are just goofy and they require special wrenches and stuff. This guy's a pretty simple design and I'm very happy with the handguard. And you know, I forget exactly what I paid for this. It was $200 and it was one of their Black Friday sales, so it was a very good deal, 200 and something bucks. But the rail and the receiver are worth what I paid. So definitely not happy with the purchase. And honestly, I'm not unhappy with the accuracy. Like I think we've shot enough through, you know, this barrel to solidly say that, you know, it's a good 1.5 to 2 minute accuracy barrel. And what the hell do you expect for a budget AR? That's really good performance. I mean, it's been function has been outstanding and accuracy has been perfectly acceptable. You know, if you're a douchebag who has a YouTube channel and wants to make accuracy videos, go buy you a more expensive barrel, you know? Good God. What do you expect? That's kind of where I'm standing on that. All right, so I'm rambling. I'm saying crazy things, which means it's probably time to end this video. Kind of ending this testing with a thud. I thought this would be a more interesting video, but like I said, the all the shooting and stuff was just repetitive and boring. So this is where we end it. There's our Sierra Match King groups again. Not bad at all. Not much to complain about. So, yep, both barrels, kind of the same stuff. So, all right, I'll see you guys soon with some more 5.56 testing. Got several bullets to test, and I'm going to be getting to them really soon. So, I'll see you guys next time.